Do you ever feel like the deeper you think, the more isolated you become? Society is not afraid of you being wrong, but of you seeing things they don't want you to see. Schopenhauer called it the curse of wisdom, a gift that brings both power and loneliness. Have you ever stood before someone whose thoughts run deeper than the ocean and felt a curious tug at your core? Psychologists call this the mirror effect. When you engage with a truly reflective thinker, they don't just exchange words, they hold up a mirror to your own limitations. Unlike physical power or wealth, external markers that everybody can recognize and even envy, intellect reaches right into your ego. And when the ego is challenged, most of us instinctively recoil rather than embrace the confrontation. Yet this very discomfort holds the key to profound growth. Consider how progress in any field, art, science, leadership, demands humility. A painter must accept that their first strokes won't match the master's. A scientist must admit past theories were incomplete. A leader must recognize when fear and bias cloud their judgment. In each case, the mirror effect pinpoints the gap between who we are and who we could be. Here's the inspiring truth. Every moment of resistance is an invitation. When you notice yourself shrinking from a deeper conversation, whether with a mentor, a book, or a quiet moment of reflection, that hesitation is the universe nudging you toward transformation. It's saying, hello, you're more capable than you've allowed yourself to believe. Imagine a sculptor confronting a block of marble. At first glance, it might seem impossible to release the figure trapped within. But the sculptor knows that each chip, each careful strike, gradually reveals a masterpiece. Your mind works the same way. Each challenging idea you entertain, each uncomfortable insight you accept, chips away the excess and unveils a stronger, more authentic self. What practical steps can you take today? Start by seeking out one person who thinks differently, someone who challenges your assumptions. Read a book that unsettles your usual worldview. Spend 10 minutes reflecting on a belief you've held uncritically. Notice the tightness in your chest, the quickness of your judgment. That's the mirror effect in action. Don't turn away. Lean in. Over time, those moments of discomfort become familiar friends. You'll find yourself anticipating, rather than avoiding, the next intellectual sparring match, the next idea that seems too big for you. And each time you'll emerge a little wiser, a little more resilient, and infinitely more alive to your own potential. So the next time your ego flinches, remember, that flicker of resistance is your greatest ally. Welcome it and let it reflect not your limitations, but the incredible possibilities waiting on the other side. This is no fiction. Every time we feel intellectually inferior, our brain activates the amygdala, the fear center of our brain. Evolution has hardwired us to believe that being outsmarted or left behind is a survival threat. Think about it. Our ancestors lived in tight-knit groups where belonging was essential for survival. If you were cast out, you were at risk, vulnerable to predators, lack of resources, and isolation. This deep-rooted fear still lingers in us today, even when the threat is simply feeling less intelligent or capable than someone else. So, when you find yourself in a conversation or situation where you feel intellectually challenged, it's natural for that feeling of fear to arise. You may even experience a wave of anxiety or self-doubt, convinced that your worth is being measured by the words you say or the ideas you express. The amygdala kicks into gear, amplifying that inner voice that tells you, you're not good enough. But here's where it gets interesting. The key is recognizing that this response is evolutionary, not a reflection of your true capabilities. The amygdala's instinctive reaction is trying to protect you from social exclusion, but it's not serving your growth. In fact, it's holding you back. It wants you to stay safe, comfortable, and within the bounds of what you already know. But to grow, to evolve, to reach new heights, comfort can't be your guide. What if, instead of retreating when you feel inferior, you leaned into that discomfort? What if you chose to embrace the challenge instead of running from it? This is where real growth lies. Each time you feel that fear creeping in, you have an opportunity to face it head-on. When you acknowledge it, sit with it, and continue forward, you are signaling to your brain that it's safe to stretch beyond the familiar. Now imagine what would happen if you made this a habit. If every time you felt intellectually threatened, you used it as a cue to engage, to ask questions, to seek understanding. Over time, those moments of fear will transform into stepping stones, each one making you stronger, more resilient, and more capable than before. The brain may be wired for fear, but you have the power to rewire it for growth. So, next time you feel intellectually challenged, remember, it's not a threat to your survival, it's an invitation to thrive. Embrace it and let your fear propel you toward the next great leap. Have you ever had an original idea only to feel it rejected by the group? It's not just your idea that's being challenged, it's the very structure of the group itself. In social settings, status often matters more than the depth of thought. When you introduce new, unconventional ideas, people instinctively fear that you might upset the balance, shift the power dynamics, or threaten their sense of belonging. As a result, the instinct to resist or even exclude you kicks in. This dynamic goes back to our primal need for social cohesion. Throughout history, survival depended on groups working together. Being in harmony with the group was essential for protection, resource sharing, and emotional support. Any idea or behavior that threatened this harmony could be seen as a risk to the entire group's survival. And so, over time, the brain has developed a tendency to resist change, especially when it comes from someone who stands apart from the norm. When you present a novel idea, it's often not about the content itself but the implicit challenge to the group's existing structure. Your ideas can feel like an unspoken invitation to question long-held beliefs or break from tradition. And this fear of disruption, whether conscious or not, triggers a defensive reaction in others. They may not outright say it, but in subtle ways you might be excluded, undermined, or even silenced. But here's the powerful part. This resistance is not a reflection of your value or the merit of your ideas. In fact, it's often the opposite. Those who resist the most are usually the ones most threatened by your potential to alter the status quo. And this is where you must find your courage. If you can push through the discomfort, if you can persist in the face of rejection or opposition, you're not just sharing ideas, you're changing the very fabric of the conversation. You're teaching the group something new, giving them a new perspective and perhaps a new path forward. The resistance you face is simply a sign that you're on the right track. Real innovation often requires a breakthrough from the norm, and that can't happen without a little friction. So the next time you feel yourself dismissed or rejected for your fresh ideas, remember, this is the price of progress. The group may resist, but that's only because your mind is stretching boundaries they're not ready to cross. Keep pushing forward. Change, after all, is never comfortable, but it's always worth the effort. History has shown us a harsh truth. Independent thinking often comes at a steep price. Take Socrates, for example. His encouragement of independent thought wasn't just controversial, it led to his execution. Galileo, the brilliant mind who discovered that the earth revolves around the sun, was forced to recant his findings under threat of persecution. Nikola Tesla, whose dreams of free energy could have changed the world, was left in obscurity, his ideas disregarded. Alan Turing, who saved millions of lives by cracking the Enigma code, was punished for his brilliance. And Hypatia, the brilliant female scholar of Alexandria, paid the ultimate price with her life. What these figures all have in common is that they challenged the status quo. They dared to think differently, to question what others accepted as truth. And for their courage they faced rejection, punishment, or even death. But here's the powerful lesson. Their sacrifices were not in vain. Each one of them contributed something profound to the world. Socrates' teachings laid the foundation for Western philosophy. Galileo's discoveries revolutionized our understanding of the universe. Tesla's inventions, though largely forgotten in his time, continue to shape our modern world. Turing's code-breaking saved lives during World War II and paved the way for the computing revolution. Hypatia's legacy endures in the spirit of intellectual courage. Their stories remind us of something critical. True innovation and progress often require standing alone, against the tide. The world isn't always ready to embrace new ideas, and those who challenge conventional thinking can face tremendous opposition. Yet it's these very people who push humanity forward. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you feel like an outsider for your unconventional thoughts, you're in good company. It means that if your ideas are dismissed or challenged, you're likely onto something important. The road to greatness is never easy, and those who truly change the world are rarely celebrated in their time. But just as history remembers the names of those who persevered, Socrates, Galileo, Tesla, Turing, Hypatia, you too have the potential to leave a lasting legacy. Don't let fear of rejection or ridicule stop you. Keep pushing, keep thinking, and keep challenging the norms. For in the end, it is those who dare to think independently who shape the future. Do you often find yourself caught in situations beyond your control? It's easy to feel overwhelmed when we mistake what's within our control for what's not. The truth is, we have full command over only two things: our thoughts and our actions. Everything else, especially how others react, is beyond our influence. Understanding this distinction can free you from unnecessary stress and help you focus on what truly matters. Schopenhauer, a philosopher who valued solitude, saw loneliness not as a curse, but as a powerful opportunity. He believed that isolation is where creativity thrives and the inner self can be nurtured. In a world full of distractions, Embracing solitude gives you space to reflect, to grow, and to develop deeper insights into yourself. It's in these quiet moments that your best ideas often emerge. But while solitude is essential for personal growth, it's equally important to choose the right companions. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking, inspire you, and share your values. You don't always need to find them in person. Books and intellectual communities can connect you with like-minded individuals. These people push you forward and help you refine your ideas, ensuring that your intellectual journey is one of progress, not stagnation. Albert Einstein once said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." This insight underscores the power of simplicity in communication. When you break down complex ideas into something anyone can understand, you prove that you truly grasp their depth. Simplicity is not about dumbing things down, it's about achieving clarity and understanding. And this clarity is a reflection of your own mental sharpness. Another tool to sharpen your intellect is the practice of reflection. Take time each day to write in a journal not just about what happened but about your inner conflicts. Where do your ego and intellect clash? What challenges did you face and how did you respond? This kind of self-examination brings clarity, helping you track your personal evolution and understand the areas where growth is still needed. In all of this, remember, your thoughts and actions are yours to control. Embrace solitude for reflection and creativity. Choose your companions wisely, for they shape the journey. Simplify your communication to ensure true understanding. And never underestimate the power of self-reflection to guide you towards your best self. Keep practicing these steps and watch as they transform your mind, your life, and your potential. Deep wisdom is not scary. What is scary is the truth it reveals. Use the Stoic spirit to stay strong, stay connected, and continue to light the fire of thinking. If you have ever been misunderstood because of your deep thinking, share your story in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to explore more great philosophies together.